Welcome to another playthrough of the Nancy Drew Adventure series. Today I'm going to be playing Nancy Drew, the final scene. So before I begin, I just wanted to give a little bit of background about myself. I was introduced to the Nancy Drew books at a fairly young age. My mom was a big fan when she was a kid and she thought I would really enjoy them. And it turned out she was right, although I was initially quite skeptical. After she'd given me my first books, she gave me my first game. And from the games, I then discovered the message board. And eventually, 2 years after I became a member, I became a moderator. So I helped supervise their message board on and off for 10 years, which was a very special thing I got to do for all that time. And I wanted to mention this little background because the final scene is when I, from what I recall, first discovered the message board. It's certainly when I first utilized it. I got stuck in this game in a place where a lot of people do, and the message board helped me move on, and I'll point out that point when I get to it in the game. So without further ado, I'm going to start my game. Oh, and no intro from Nancy in this one, so I'm going to start by selecting Senior Detective. I always prefer to play on the highest difficulty level.
Dear Bess, remember Maya Wynn from high school? I'm visiting her in St. Louis. We have tickets to tonight's premiere of the new Brady Armstrong movie, Vanishing Destiny. It's the last screening ever at the Royal Palladium. This place has been a landmark for almost a century. And now, in just 3 days, it's going to be demolished. I wish I could have seen the theater back in the 20s before it was turned into a movie house. All the great magicians performed here, even Harry Houdini. There's a lot of public opposition to the loss of this historic building. Rumor has it local activists are planning to stage a big protest out front tonight. The theater will be closed when we arrive, but they'll let us in since Maya is covering the story for the university newspaper. Oh boy, a press pass sure does come in handy. Maya told me she has an interesting lead, and we're on our way to interview Brady Armstrong about the controversy now. I know he's one of your favorite stars. Stay tuned. Maya always gets the full scoop. Talk to you soon. Love, Nancy.
Okay, Nancy, here I go. Cross your fingers, there's a story behind this door.
Go get 'em, Scoop.
Meet you in the lobby.
Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3, testing. Is this thing on? Hello?
Think I'll go check out the snacks. That sounds like Maya. Help! Nancy!
I think I just have to move one direction for the phone to ring. Maybe not. Oh, there we go.
Hello?
Listen carefully. If they knock the theater down, the girl goes with it.
What? Who is this? Hello? Hello? You'll never get away with this. Do you hear me?
Hello?
So that's quite the introduction. Rather intense right off the bat, which gets us jumped right into our mystery, which is pretty cool. A little different from the setup of the previous 4 games. And before I actually continue playing and making my selection between my 2 great options here, I wanted to point out a difference between the book and the game. This is based on my recollection. It's been a long time since I've read the book, and I will be rereading it in the next few days so that I can do a comparison video between the book and game. But I don't believe Maya is in the book. It's actually Bess, which is kind of nice that they had Nancy's letter written to Bess, and I believe Bess actually winds up kidnapped. So Maya's been brought in so that they didn't have to, or I shouldn't say didn't have to, but that way Bess sort of remained in our imagination. We could picture her the way we wanted to, and they were able to bring in some diversity by creating this character of Maya. Okay, so now let's continue with the gameplay.
You're messing with the wrong girls, whoever you are. She's a reporter and I'm a detective, and we don't scare easy.
This is Joseph Hughes, the caretaker. I'm looking for Brady Armstrong. He said he'd be there. Who's this? And what's all the excitement?
Brady's not here. I'm sorry, but I have to go. Something's gone terribly wrong.
Now, please try to calm down and tell me what's going on. What's your name, dear?
I'm Nancy. My friend Maya's gone, and I just received a threatening phone call from the kidnapper.
Whoa. They must have taken her through that secret passageway. Holy smokes. And you're on an inside line. That call must have come from inside the building. We gotta act quick. You check out the secret passageway. I'll make sure all the exits are locked, and then I'll come find you.
I like that he assumes I know the secret passageway.
No groupies in the dressing rooms. But since you're such a rascally fan, what would you say to a signed autograph from yours truly?
I'm not here for an autograph. My friend's been kidnapped.
Kidnapped? Maybe you better tell me what's going on here.
I don't have time to explain. The kidnapper may still be in the building. I need to search this room. Do you mind?
Sure thing. How can I help?
She may still be in the building. We've got to search this place from top to bottom.
Roger.
I just realized he has very vivid green eyes. Anyways, moving on. Oh, I also like that, so this is, in previous games, been a clock that if you clicked on it would open. But in this one, it shows you, my cursor keeps changing it. There we go. It shows you which day we're on, because in this game, it's set up as 3 unique days. You have certain events that you have to accomplish on day 1, to then go to day 2. Same story, certain things have to be completed to move on to the 3rd and final day. And I really like this setup because it's unique. And they were able to put in a lot of unique things within the first few games because almost anything could have been new. But I do, in particular, love this setup. It's the first time we see it, and it does happen in the 10th game, The Secret of Shadow Ranch, pardon me. And there's another game that sort of happens in Warnings at Waverly Academy. I know I tend to play it in 3 days, that's sort of the setup, but you have a little bit more freedom with that game. You change the time in that game, for the most part.
It's locked.
Of course it's locked. It wouldn't be Nancy Drew if things were unlocked. I love that there's that hidden lever. It leads to a hidden secret passage. I also really like this music. I say this all the time, I love the music from the games, especially in these early games. They fit the stories and the scenes, the setup very well. I used to listen to various Nancy Drew soundtracks when I worked at a bookstore, because I used to work in the back and I did all of our used book pricing and I could listen to whatever the heck I wanted. And sometimes when I was in the storefront of our vintage department, I'd put on the soundtrack for Secret of the Old Clock because it was old-timey and sort of fit the theme of that part of the store. The point being, these are great soundtracks. I like to listen to them on my off time.
I may have to cut this short, Hal. Someone just climbed out of my wardrobe.
Can't you see I'm on the phone here?
That's a great line, by the way. Someone just climbed out of my wardrobe. Brilliant.
My friend's been kidnapped.
Listen, sweetheart, I have a premiere tonight and no stylist for my star, so don't tell me about problems.
But this is an emergency.
I said scram.
She's a horrible woman sometimes. She doesn't understand the urgency of the situation. She doesn't believe the situation. So I kind of get it. This is really gross. But again, this theater is being demolished in 3 days. So I guess they weren't going to make everything look super nice and clean. But still. Ugh. Here we go, one of the HeR interactive mugs. I haven't pointed these out in a while. I know there was one in Message in a Haunted Mansion, which I failed to notice when I was doing the playthrough. When I rewatched it, I saw it. And I didn't notice any in Treasure in the Royal Tower. I don't know if there are any of the HeR mugs or HeR emblem on anything in that game. I'm curious if anyone happens to spot it in that game. If you're keen to go to my video and just comment about it, that'd be super cool, because then I can look out for it the next time I play it. think I'm just going to ignore Simone. The rest of the room and move forward. I know I got stumped on this in the early days of first playing this game, because for a long time I don't think I realized I could click over here. But I know it now, so I do it right away. And I don't think I clicked on the rope enough. I think I started to think that I was rewinding it up until I heard the clunk. Okay, let's just do that again, but in reverse. I've always got this little black mark here. I don't know if that's a glitch in the game, but it's been on every computer I've installed this game on. Okay, let's go down the trapdoor. The first that we encounter. It just looks so corroded and old and unsafe. The amazing Monty.
Ladies and gentlemen, step right up! Ha-ha!
He's super creepy.
Find the ace of spades. Keep your eye on the card.
Hey! I actually got it right.
Congratulations! You beat the magician! Don't forget to collect your winnings!
I think I often select that card and it's often not correct. So I'm impressed it only took one try.
Your audience will be dazzled.
Flash paper, super cool. And then if we try and play it again, we can't.
Ladies and gentlemen, step right
It's even creepier. Oh god. No wonder I don't like dummies. Like, this guy just is the essence of the heebie-jeebies when that whole thing happens. Ugh. Might as well do this now. I think it took me a while to stumble upon this puzzle the first time I played the game as well. I know it's spades. There we go. I love this puzzle. I found a book of this artist's work, and it's a coloring book, and I have it. I thought it was so cool when I discovered it, and it includes this particular picture, which to me was just amazing. It's like, I know this picture, it's from Nancy Drew. It was a pretty great find. More her hair. That's often the way I start, is I'll look for her hair, like the top of her head, not the longer bits that go around her neck and shoulder, and also the outline here of the zodiac. That's not right. Shouldn't do that little wobble. No, that's not right. That's her hair, which means that goes there. This might go here. It doesn't. Quite clearly, it does not go there. No. Oh. Go there. Oh no, this doesn't go here. just to get it out of my way. Oh, that's really not right. Thank you, goes there. So not right either. Oh, I think it's that one. There we go. That's better.
It looks like the gears are missing.
They are. Enough playtime. I feel like I'm not actively looking for Maya. I just love exploring this theater. It's so cool. It's so well done. If this was a place that actually existed in real life, I would love to visit it. I actually said that in a moderator interview years ago. I don't know if any of these are actual real people. This picture, every time I just look at it without, I should say every time I glance at it without looking too seriously at it, and even now if I'm still looking at it, I always think of Victor Garber, fantastic actor, and I'm assuming it's actually Harry Houdini, but in this shot, he's always, this photo's always made me think of the great Jack Bristow, the character who Victor Garber played in Alias, which is a show I loved when it came out, and I still love it. Rewatch it often. But yeah, that photograph always makes me think Jack Bristow, even though it's not. Okay, let's get back to the game.
No teeny boppers till showtime. House rules.
Have you seen my friend Maya? She's 19, 5'5", black hair. She has on running shoes, jeans, and a black shirt with butterflies on it.
And the crisis is...
She went into Brady Armstrong's dressing room and disappeared.
Good old Charmstrong. Why are women always losing themselves over him?
It's not really what I meant. Ooh, let's be a little snappy with him.
Who are you, his surly understudy?
Hollywood? The fantastic plastic vacuum? I wouldn't go there in a pig's suitcase. I'm Nicholas Falcone, solemnly sworn to lead the forces of Hadit and slay the dragon of corporate generica. Who are you, and what's with the doom and gloom?
I'm Nancy, but I think I missed something. Generica?
Haven't you heard? The battle is on. There's a human chain forming out front as we speak. But all that can wait. It's obvious you got a situation, so what's up?
My friend's been kidnapped. I've got to alert the police and then start searching this place.
Phew. Kidnapping? That's a high-profile tactic. Somebody means business. So what's the demands?
The phone call was awful. They want the demolition stopped.
No kidding. That'll blast those bureaucrats and corporate bigwigs out of their dream world. Applause for the cause. We need all the help we can get.
You must be joking if you think any building is worth more than a human life. And it's a lousy joke, by the way.
I'm sorry. I know you're upset, but they won't mess with your friend. They just took her for effect. It's called making a statement.
Oh, so this is just a pretend kidnapping. I never would have guessed. Maya's scream sounded so real.
She'll be okay. Trust me.
I'm not about to take that chance.
If you need a phone, there's an outside line in the ticket booth.
Thank you. That's the most helpful thing he's said so far. I actually quite like Nick, but the introduction with him isn't the greatest. Police, routine 22.
St. Louis Police Department.
I'm calling to report a kidnapping.
Is the kidnapping in progress?
No.
Hold on, miss. I'll transfer you to the Missing Persons Unit.
Missing persons, Sergeant Mac Ramsey speaking.
I'm calling to report a kidnapping, no longer in progress.
And who am I speaking with, please?
My name is Nancy Drew.
Okay, Miss Drew. Now, did you witness this kidnapping?
No, but I heard it.
What exactly did you hear?
My friend went into a dressing room. I was out in the hall. And I heard her scream, so I went in after her, but she was gone.
When and where did this happen?
Just now, at the Royal Palladium Theater.
And what's your friend's name, Miss Drew?
Maya Wynn.
Can you spell that, please?
M-A-Y-A, last name N-G-U-Y-E-N.
Age?
19.
Physical description?
She's Asian American. I guess about 5'5", long black hair.
So you didn't actually witness anything, is that right?
I heard her screaming, and I received a threatening phone call. That must count for something.
A threat. Can you describe the voice? Was it a man or a woman?
It was spooky. I think they were using some voice disguise device.
Yes. That'll make it impossible to tell the gender of the caller. Did you notice anything suspicious looking in the vicinity?
No.
No suspects. Any visible signs of struggle in the dressing room? Did your friend leave anything behind? Her purse? Anything that might have fallen out of her pockets?
No.
No evidence. Does your friend work at the theater?
No, she's a student at Washington University.
Does your friend have any enemies?
Maya? I highly doubt it.
And what business did Maya have entering the theater dressing room?
She's a reporter for the school paper. She was there to do an interview.
What about Maya's parents? Have they been contacted?
They're in Vietnam this time of year. I don't know how to contact them.
Okay, miss. I'll file this report. After 24 hours, if she hasn't turned up, we consider her a missing person, then begin to investigate.
How can she turn up? She's been kidnapped.
Unlikely. With all the scuttlebutt around this demolition, this stinks of student prank.
A prank? But this building is going to be demolished in 72 hours. How can we afford to take that chance?
How do you mean?
The kidnapper must be holding her in the building, don't you think?
Unlikely. No competent kidnapper keeps their captive anywhere near the scene of the abduction. Is there anything else, Miss Drew?
Sergeant, I really don't think we can afford to wait 24 hours.
It's standard procedure, Miss Drew. Unless you can provide us with some evidence that your friend was taken by force, it's 24 hours.
Thanks, Sergeant. I'll call you back when I have the evidence.
You do that.
Bye.
So I did want to comment on that phone call. We don't actually get to participate. It's all pre-selected and spoken for us, which is a little too bad. That happens a couple of times in this game, all during phone conversations. So we're not as active we're not as active a participant in some of the discussions in this game. I also wanted to point out, you really recognize his voice as that of Dwayne Powers from Stay Tuned for Danger, and I'm pretty sure that's the same voice actor who voices Joseph in this game. So, not a very encouraging phone call.
Nancy, what's the 411?
411? That's what you call for directory assistance. I know this because I used to be an operator.
The 411?
Come on, Nancy. That's vintage slang. You know, the 411, the deal, the lowdown.
Oh, the information.
Exactly.
Yep, and people will often say, is this information? Oh, I think that's more of an American way of describing it. In Canada, we always just call it directory assistance or directory.
So, humans against the destruction of illustrious theaters. Tell me about it.
This theater's a spotted owl. It's a humpback whale. It's endangered. Illustrious buildings testify to our finest human hours. They should be celebrated, not bulldozed to make way for cardboard megaplexes. Need I say more?
Do you know what they plan to build on this spot after the theater is gone?
Oh, it's very hush-hush. The name of the building firm is Wave of the Future, and the owner is some B. Thompson, descendant of J.J. Thompson, but he's never available for comment. Fishy, right? $10 says B stands for baloney.
I've always liked that line.
Catch you later.
Fight the power.
So before we go and meet Joseph, go into the actual theater, because there's something I need here. Okay, no, this way. So this is where I got stuck the first time I played this game, and it's where I know a lot of people got stuck because I would see it on the message board all the time. You need to find this wad of chewed up gum and stick it on your magic wand. I was stuck for days. So then I don't know that I'd found the message board before then, but certainly I did when I was stuck. And I didn't join, but I remembered searching the subforum for the final scene to figure out what it was that had me stuck and not progressing, and it was this piece of gum, which you need for this part. So we'll notice that these gears is missing, and if you look over the edge, there it is.
I can't quite reach.
If you continue to try and reach, you fall. I have done that numerous times. Or I had until I'd found the piece of gum. Now I have the gear I need. But yeah, lots of people, at least back in the day, would get stumped on that specific task, if you will, getting the gear because they didn't have the piece of gum.
You must be Nancy. The worry's written all over your face. Well, I'm Joe. I started to look for you, but then I figured better to park myself and let you find me. Any trace of your friend?
I really like this, so I've pointed this out before. I will continue to point this out in the next several games, I'm sure. But we're given options, and it's not the first time in this game we're given options on how to respond. But quite often we're only given 2 choices. In this particular scenario, we've been given 3 different ways to respond to Joseph. And these are not options that are going to come up again. It's just this one-time conversation, what's the preferred way we'd like Nancy to respond to what Joseph has said. So I really like that. This sort of balances, sort of, but not quite, but balances that lack of telephone conversation involvement that we see often in this particular game. And I like this option, the last one.
I guess the kidnapper must have escaped through that passageway, but all it led me to is a cranky Hollywood agent.
Simone Mueller. I should have warned you. What about calling the police? There's an outside line in the ticket booth.
I like his reaction to her. Ugh, I should have warned you.
I already spoke to them. According to their policy, Maya's not officially missing yet. If I want their help before tomorrow, I have to come up with some evidence of foul play.
But this theater's going to be torn down in 3 days. Did you tell them that?
They say it's unlikely that the kidnapper would keep her in the building.
Well, I checked all the outside doors, and they're locked up tight. Only folks who've been in the theater all day are Brady and Simone, you and Maya, Nicholas Falcone, and myself.
So here again, we have another example of multiple options. I didn't actually realize until I continued to scroll and had started to speak that there were 3 again here, which is great.
You're suggesting it must be one of these people?
Well, I've only got this one pair of eyes, so I can't say 100%.
And this one, the second option here, was an option in the previous set of dialogue options, which is quite interesting.
Are you counting yourself as a suspect?
I was up here in the projector room, sound testing for the premiere. But I'd be disappointed in your detective work if you didn't put me through the ringer like a regular suspect.
And we know why they've given this option on more than one occasion. Or if you haven't played, then I guess you don't. But for those of us who have played these games multiple times, you know that you need to have this conversation. You have to discuss the fact that Nancy heard the sound testing, or at least Joseph has to give that alibi. So that's why they've given that option twice.
Sound testing. Yeah, I think I remember hearing you practicing your MC voice now that you mention
Key
it.
plot point.
I reckon if the kidnapper wants the demolition stopped, they must be keeping Maya somewhere in the building.
Did I mention what the kidnapper said?
Oh, I think so. Or maybe Brady told me when I saw him in the hall. He seems eager to help.
I also love this line. This would make a great signature quote. I don't think I ever used it on the message board, but now that I think about it, it would have been superb.
Helpful suspects. What more could I ask for?
That's the spirit. Now, what's your plan of attack?
Time to start searching. Can you give me a map or some blueprints of this place?
Try calling county administration. The records division keeps that type of stuff. I bet a blueprint would show secret passages that even I've never found. Ask for the original plans, not the ones from the 56 remodel.
When was the theater built?
Completed in 1925. The vision of one J.J. Thompson. Anyway, I've spent the last 40-something years finding my way around this place, so let me know if I can help.
You've been a big help already.
Don't let the turkeys get you down.
Also a great line. Okay, it's going to tell us not to fiddle.
Watch out there, Nancy. That projector's crumbling like a prehistoric cookie.
Okay. Stuff here we need. I don't think we actually need that slide, but I always pick it up anyways.
There was a key here.
Don't have a pencil yet. Not until, I think, the third day. I had no idea when I was a kid that this was a bulb. It's not the ones you see in a house. Come on. County administration. I feel like their number is with Nick.
What's up? Can't talk long. Gotta check on my people.
What's your attachment to saving this theater? You seem so personally invested.
Politics is personal, but with this place, it's ultra personal. My grandma, Louisa Falcone, designed the molds for all the insane plasterwork that you see in this lobby and in the auditorium.
Wow, I can see why you would hate to let it be destroyed. After all, this artwork is her legacy.
True, but there's more. I guess the architect-owner guy, J.J. Thompson, ran out of cash before the building was done. He never paid my grandma dime one, and then he denied that she had ever done the work in the first place.
Such an injustice. It actually hurts my heart a little bit to think that that would happen. And that's not a fictional concept. It certainly happens in real life, and it's horrendous. Sad when that happens, and it shouldn't happen. People shouldn't be able to get away with that.
Didn't she fight it?
Yeah, she was the artist type, not a deal maker. I guess she'd never signed any contractual stuff with JJ, and she didn't have the resources to sue him or any of that, so I guess she just had to let it go.
She must have been so frustrated.
Here's the kicker. After JJ sharked her on this 2-year project, she was broke, and then the Great Depression hit. She could never afford to work as an artist again.
Yeah, again, that's just super sad. It's one thing after another.
Was she bitter about it?
Louisa, Mother Serenity Falcone? She just kept on trucking in true Falcone style. Died at 97 without a bitter bone in her body. I think she had a happy life, but this theater holds the last artwork she ever did. Don't you see, Nancy? Saving this place is not just for history, it's for justice.
I point out, kept on trucking. We're going to hear a very similar use of that expression in a couple of games from now. Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake.
Can't you get some justice now?
My family has been trying for years, but there doesn't seem to be anything on record that links her to this place. Nancy, could you do me a favor?
I think I know what you're going to ask.
While you're searching, could you just keep your eye out?
Maya's my first priority, as you can imagine. But if there's any way I can help set the record straight on this beautiful artwork, I will.
You're cooler than I thought, Nancy.
I like and also really hate this line because it's so judgmental, and you're smarter than I thought. Like, why would you think any other way about him? You don't know him. So I'm not gonna select that option.
I try to play it down.
I just find it too insulting. Okay, so I have to call county administration. Maybe their number's here. I have a feeling it's not. Yeah, that's not. I need Nick to skedaddle. It's in one of the pamphlets. Ah, there we go. Didn't think it was going to be that easy. Okay then. Which one is it in? This one.
County Administration, 314-555-3309.
Okay. It's local, I don't need the area code, so 3309 is all I have to remember. 3309. And then here's this other pamphlet. So we're going to have another phone call, which, if memory serves, is similar to that one with the police in terms of not really being an active participant all that much. Oh, good, it's actually here. Some of the phone numbers get noted in the box, some don't.
Records, Madeline speaking.
Hi, I'm looking for the blueprints for the Royal Palladium Theater. Do you have them on file?
Are you a county employee?
No, just a citizen on a mission.
Okay, well, we do keep blueprints on file. Let's see. The computer says there are 2 sets for the Palladium, 1923 and 1956. Do you have a preference?
1923, please. The originals.
Would you like to hold while I retrieve them?
Sure, thanks.
I do like that we get this hold music. Although in this instance it doesn't come through very well because I still have the main background music for the game playing at the same time.
Ma'am?
Yes, I'm still here.
It's very strange, ma'am. They're gone.
Gone? You mean someone checked them out?
Oh, we don't allow people to check them out. You can bring the blueprints to our reading room and study them there, but they're not supposed to leave the building. I can't imagine where they could be. Hold on, let me see if Charles knows.
So there we can hear the music better this time. I just appreciate this this extra little musical piece they put in.
Ma'am, this is so strange. Charles says some guy was just in here looking at them a few days ago.
What did he look like?
Hold on.
And we get the music again. It's kind of amusing. It's not necessary, but it is amusing, in my view.
Hello? Charles said the guy had a hat on. He never really got a look at the guy.
Was he young or old?
Hey, Charles, young or old?
No more music.
Energetic is all Charles remembers.
Okay, well, my name is Nancy Drew. I'm working on some things over here at the Royal Palladium. Could you do a search for the blueprints?
Sure thing. I'll put in a find request. Call back in 5 to 7 business days.
Next week? Oh, I'm afraid I don't have that kind of time. Is there any way to expedite the search?
I'm afraid not. The guy who does our misplaced material searches just returned from a month of paternity leave, and he's swamped.
I see.
This is urgent?
Yes, it's urgent, all right. But I'll figure something out. Thanks, Madeline.
Good luck.
Bye.
I also really like that they said the guy just came back from paternity leave. I mean, they could have given any reason for him having been away and being behind, But I like that they decided to put in a storyline that he went to take time off to be a dad. I just thought that was really sweet. Okay. Right, there was something I was going to do. I briefly forgot what it was. I remembered. Went in a full circle, that was unnecessary. The bee's knees. Heck yes. Love this music. And I love these games. Let's see. Is this the second time we've had this? Third time? I don't remember. I feel like I played this recently, but I've also played some of the games out of order without recordings recently. Like Secret of Shadow Ranch. I might just be thinking of that. Okay. I remember, how do I trick this piece into following me without being too close? No, not that way. I think I messed up. Oh, I totally messed up. Reset. I don't remember which way I did this before. That's no good. I don't think it's gonna follow me this way. Nope. Shoot. I used to know how to do this. I do at least want this one trapped in there. How do I get this one? Oh, that was stupidly easy and I'd forgotten. Jeez Louise. That's okay. Figured it out. And there we have this different music. It's like a sound of triumph after we've successfully beat this bee's knees game and received our prize. I love it. They do that in Treasure in the Royal Tower when you get the medallions. You have this very specific tune of, you know, success that I really appreciate. I know I've said this before, but it's just a great touch. It's really thoughtful. You don't have to have this, I guess, unique track for that, but they put it in, and for me, it's very effective.
Nancy Drew, Simone Mueller, don't worry, Vanishing Destiny is off. We've got bigger fish to fry.
The premiere's been canceled?
Of course. I mean, a kidnapping? Right out of my star's dressing room? The premiere is small potatoes. It's worth more to us canceled, or at least postponed. When the news gets out, the whole nation will be watching.
Ugh. She sounded so great until that last moment.
I'm worried sick about my friend here, and all you can think of is another media event.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you from?
River Heights. Why?
Yes, precisely. River Heights. Listen, doll, I'm from L.A. This ain't my first time at the rodeo. We'll find your friend, or Brady Armstrong will, and when he does, every girl in America will wish she'd been kidnapped instead of Maya what's-her-name.
This is totally off topic, but every time I see the word rodeo now, my brain goes rodeo, because I tend to watch a lot of foreign film and TV shows, and in Australia, not every actor pronounces it that way, but a lot call it, or pronounce it rodeo, and now my brain is almost wired to read it that way. I really have to think rodeo, not rodeo. We say rodeo in North America.
I can't believe you. No girl wants to be kidnapped, ever.
I'm proposing a business alliance. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. We don't have to see eye to eye.
Oh my goodness. So again, we've been given 3 fantastic options for how to, respond to Simone, and they're all rather snarky. I'd rather be crushed by an elevator. I mean, that is taken directly from the previous game, Treasure in the Royal Tower, because if you don't set things up quite right, you can get crushed by an elevator. I like the second option.
Sounds like an invitation to the swamp of no return. Thanks, but no thanks.
Honey, you've got spunk. Ever consider acting? This girl power thing is red hot right now. Of course, we'd have to think of a stage name. Nancy Drew is so utterly forgettable.
We'll get to this in a little bit, but I love that way to end the conversation.
Joseph says the building was probably locked when the kidnapping happened, and that the kidnapper had to be someone who was inside the theater. Care to comment?
Why don't you tell that little gray troll that I think he did it, just to keep himself from dying of boredom in this old dump. That's my comment.
This line really bothers me because we've basically already addressed it, but also I think it's reused verbatim with all of the suspects, except perhaps Joseph.
I'm asking everyone, where were you when the kidnapping happened?
Oh, please, Nancy, I was on the phone, doing business. But if I'm ever hard-pressed for entertainment, I'm sure kidnapping would be a real hoot.
And this just occurred to me, also off topic, but just hearing her voice when she was reading this line. Is this the same actress who does Paula Santos in The Haunted Carousel? Starting to wonder. Anyhow.
I think your phone's about to ring.
Love ya.
Ugh. Yeah, do not care for this woman. They did a great job at making her a really unlikable human being. So I can almost end this day, but I'm going to go speak with Brady first.
Need any help?
Who's this Simone, and how do you know her?
Simone Mueller, CEO of my life. My agent. Focus on being wholesomely smoldering, she says, and leave the rest to me. So I do. She's been setting up Premier HQ in the women's dressing room. Haven't you heard her snarling at people on the phone?
I want to say yes, Henrik Vanderheun, because it's definitely the same actor who does their 2 voices, and we'll hear him in the next game. Easily distracted right now. I played that game fairly recently as well. Might be a while before I do a playthrough of that one, just because I played it so recently, although I do love that game. Let's see. Yeah, so here we go. Here's that line taken directly from Speaking with Simone.
I'm asking everyone, where were you when the kidnapping happened?
Sounds the exact same too.
Me? You think I kidnapped Maya and then breezed in here just 4 minutes later? Where would I hide her? In my back pocket?
I understand that it's useful to be able to reuse that dialogue. I just don't care for it. It's a little cheap. They do that in Alibi in Ashes when Nancy's talking on the phone with Bess, George, and Ned. I mean, they all have their own recording. It's not the same person and the same piece of dialogue recording used over, but her 3 friends all ask her the same thing, phrased the exact same way. They all use the same script. I'll point it out when I play that game, but it's really bothersome to me. Like, I would have liked if it could have been phrased a little differently for each character. I mean, that's too snarky. I'm not going to select that one.
Okay, but where were you?
I was late getting back from a haircut. This is hard for me. I think my hairline might be receding. It's miserable. Simone's gonna go through the roof.
How do you keep up with all of your fans, Brady? A big star like you must get hundreds of emails.
Hundreds? Try thousands. All my email goes through Simone. She reads it, she writes back. Control issues, you know? Off the record, any message that says love Brady is just a big electronic smooch from her.
It's a lovely image.
Why are you so interested in helping me?
Well, Maya was kidnapped from my dressing room after all. I just can't help thinking maybe they meant to kidnap me.
First time you said something logical. And it's correct, in fact.
Do you mind if I take a look around in here?
Be my guest.
Talk to you later, Brady.
Bye.
Okay, let's go back down to the basement. This is gonna get us closer to day 2. So, might have been the first time, one of the first times I played this game. I put this teeny tiny gear in the big spot and I couldn't move it. It was stuck there and I had to restart the game. So make sure you put the small gear where the small gear goes first and then the big gear. I was really upset when that happened. So what's this? Dear Mr. Houdini, congratulations on your latest unbelievable feat. Never have I seen the crowd at the Royal Palladium so enthralled by a performer. Stupendous! Honestly, I was assured that the watery grave was inescapable, even for a master such as yourself. Really, if I'd had any notion of risking my money, I might not have offered so grandiose a reward. After all, what man is made of money? Isn't that right, Mr. Houdini? I have an idea of where this is going. My point is, well, I must admit that my cash flow is a little tight at the moment. More specifically, I do not have $50,000 available to give you at this time. The theater is young, but bound for glory, I'm sure you'll agree, and my bank account is still recovering from the building expenses. I'm sure you understand, sir. I don't know why I'm reading this aloud, but I am. At least I was until then, because my recording box, which I've noted in previous videos that you cannot see, is now blocking a bunch of the text. But basically, here we go. He says, please sign below and return this document to me if you agree to proceed with the transfer of 50% ownership of the theater into your name. In so doing, you will also be agreeing not to sue me or publicly defame my name. A detailed contract will follow. Stupendous. So it's about sharing ownership of the theater, which everyone signed. This is key to the plot. Or for one of the plots. I mean, this story is initially about Maya and being kidnapped, but the reason for her kidnapping is to stop the demolition. And this sort of works, like it ties in with that story, but it's also kind of its own story about who the actual owner is and is going to help with stopping demolition. It's in some ways quite intricate. I like that it's thought out. It's sort of got this extra detail, this extra depth to it. It's not just a simple storyline of someone got kidnapped. And they want this building to stay upright. They actually have taken the time to think of a way to stop the demolition. There's this backstory, and it's well thought out, it's well written, it's got some depth. I really appreciate it. Anyways, I'll stop rambling.
How goes the search?
I haven't found anything that mentions your grandmother, but I did find something very interesting about the ownership of the theater.
Well, don't just stand there. Start breaking it down.
It seems your grandmother isn't the only one J.J. Thompson tried to bamboozle.
Great word.
Yeah, and?
So in this yeah and response we get from Nick, had I selected the other option, asking if he'd heard about this bet, he would have responded the same way. So either option would have led to the same response from Nick. sometimes you get different responses, or you get an additional part plus something that remains the same between your options.
JJ put up a big reward for this Houdini challenge. He must have thought the escape was impossible.
He did.
But Houdini did it. And JJ didn't have the reward money.
What does this have to do with the ownership of the theater?
From what I can tell, JJ had to give Harry Houdini 50% of the theater as the reward.
Ha! Serves that swindler JJ right. Nancy, do you realize what this means?
Enlighten me.
If Thompson didn't own the whole place, then whoever inherited it from Thompson doesn't legally own the whole place either.
I get chills because I know how positive this is and it's exciting.
Which means they don't have the authority to knock this building down.
Yep, there are chills.
We've got to find out what happened to his half of the ownership. You keep looking for Maya. I've got a laptop out in my van. I'll get online and do some research. Check back soon.
Catch you later.
Fight the power.
I just feel so excited for him.
Nancy, it's Joseph. Wait till you see this. Come to the projection room.
All right, that's the cue to end day three, goodness me. Day 1. Hello, Joseph's behind. There we go. Let's talk to you while you're facing me.
Nancy, take a look at this.
Oh my gosh, Maya's press pass.
Brady found it.
This should be enough evidence to get the police over here, don't you think?
I should think so. Give the police a call, and then you better go back to your hotel and get some rest.
Just when I have a lead? No way! I've got to keep searching.
You won't be any help to Maya if you get too tired to think.
Okay, I surrender.
Go ahead and use the phone in the ticket booth. I'll be down in a minute.
I don't know why this is the direction I almost always come down the stairs. Always go up this way, come down the other side. Habits. Moving in a clockwise direction. What was it? 1422?
St. Louis Police Department.
Missing persons unit, please.
Please hold. Missing persons, this is Ramsey.
Hi, Sergeant Ramsey. This is Nancy Drew. I spoke to you earlier today about the disappearance of my friend, Maya Wen.
Hello, Miss Drew. You're calling to tell me that you found your friend, I hope.
I wish that were true, sir. No, she's still missing. I'm calling to report that I have the evidence you asked for.
What did you find?
Someone else here at the theater found Maya's press pass. It was clipped to her shirt when she went into the dressing room. It must have been torn off when she was kidnapped.
Or it fell off. Or she just tossed it.
Maya is very serious about her work, Sergeant Ramsey. She never goes anywhere without that pass, and she would not willingly leave it behind.
Is the pass damaged in any way?
No.
Was anything disturbed in the area where it was found?
I don't know. I'm not the one who found it.
Okay, well, thanks for checking in, Miss Drew. If Maya hasn't turned up by tomorrow, we'll definitely be out to investigate. Someone will take a look at the press pass then.
But you said that if I found evidence, you'd investigate the theater today.
I'm sorry, Miss Drew, but we can't go chasing after every kid who decides to take a leave of absence. The vast majority of missing juveniles disappear of their own accord, and they reappear when they're good and ready.
You have to believe me. Maya would never play this kind of game. Nicholas Falcone said he thinks somebody is using her to make a statement.
Nicholas Falcone? Is he involved in this? Are you involved with him?
Hadit is demonstrating against the demolition in front of the theater. Nicholas has set up shop in the lobby. I've spoken to him. I'm not involved with him.
Are you aware of the allegations against Mr. Falcone's character, Miss Drew?
Allegations?
Nick Falcone operates according to his own rules. He'll do just about anything to save a theater, and he's not afraid to use extreme tactics.
What kind of extreme tactics?
You name it. Vandalism, sabotage, chaining himself to demolition machinery.
Is that right?
And last year there was a situation over in Nashville. Just when the oldest theater in the city is about to be torn down, and mind you, Hadit is there in full force, a girl goes missing. So happens she's the daughter of the demolition boss. They go crazy looking for her. There's a call, just like the one you described. Anyway, to make a long story short, the demolition is called off. And 3 weeks later, the girl is seen snuggling up to Falcone in a Memphis coffee shop.
Are you suggesting Nicholas is staging this thing?
I'm just saying that there's more to situations like these than meets the eye. Nick Falcone is a real operator and he likes to humiliate the police. I'm not gonna jump on the bandwagon here with this whole Royal Palladium thing and let him make my unit look like a bunch of chumps.
I see.
So you aren't gonna have any credit with us if you join ranks with him.
Does he have a criminal record?
Oh, minor stuff. Disorderly conduct, trespassing, yada yada yada. But Nick Falcone can slime his way out of a sticky situation like no one I've ever seen. Unfortunately, there's no jail sentence for being a royal pain in the neck.
There are no good citizenship awards for it either.
Look, I know you're worried, but for now, there's nothing we can do. And there's nothing you can do either. Why don't you go home and get some rest? I'm sure you've had a long day.
Well, this has been very informative, Sergeant Ramsey. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Good night, Miss Drew.
Oh boy, that's a long conversation where again we're just sitting and watching. We're not participating. It's the downside to this game. I love this game otherwise. That's the only thing that I find kind of boring. And this is going to end day 1. So fairly eventful. Maya gets kidnapped. We do some snooping. We meet the suspects. We have long-winded conversations over the telephone. And then we'll get into some more exciting stuff in day 2.
I heard the whole thing, Nancy. Go get some sleep. I'll keep an eye on things till morning.
Mm-hmm. Just mean. Okay, so I'm actually going up the staircase on this side because I'm right there. And we have this missing poster, which of course also advertises Brady. How could it not? Okay, so you're going to hear that the music has changed. I had to stop the recording. Ever since I played Secrets Can Kill and did 2 recordings, I usually stop around an hour because my recording equipment doesn't seem to like picking up the background sounds around the hour mark. When I was recording Secrets Can Kill, it was an hour and 4 and you could hear it start to go sort of garbled. And I've just listened back to the ending of my first recording, so toward the end of day 1, and I could hear it while we were on the phone with Sergeant Mac Ramsey, and I could hear it going a bit garbled, and that was only an hour in, so I was really hoping I could do clear sounding recordings for each individual day. Wasn't quite successful with the first day here, so my transition between my various recordings isn't all that smooth this time, unfortunately. I was hoping I could get that same track to play while I was, when I continued this recording, and no luck. So it's not going to flow very well, or hasn't flowed very well, but at least we don't hear that garbled sound anymore. Alright, so now I'm actually going to speak with Joseph here in day 2.
I'm sorry you had to see that wreath, Nancy. It's disgusting.
Really cruel, isn't it?
I'm afraid Maya's in real danger.
Let's hope the kidnapper just did this to scare you.
Like I'm not scared enough? Like I don't know time is running out?
The phone's been ringing off the hook all morning. I don't know how the press got a hold of this, but they're all over it like ants on a picnic.
Where did those missing posters come from?
I can't say for sure, but I can make an educated guess.
I have a feeling you and I are betting on the same horse here.
Can you believe the way she diverted all of the attention away from Maya and used the poster to promote Brady as the big hero? This shouldn't be happening. It's all backwards.
Yeah.
So where will you go after the demolition? Are you planning to retire?
Greasewood, Arizona. My brother Jake is there. It's a tiny town with no movie theater, so we're gonna put one on the map. I got some money saved.
Who is this J.J. Thompson character anyway?
Old J.J. Owner, visionary, wheeler dealer. JJ loved a magic show. He had this place built with those kind of big spectacle shows in mind. JJ also happened to love the sight of his own mug in the mirror. You can tell by the way he ornamented the auditorium with his own head.
The history of this theater is so rich. I'm surprised the city of St. Louis isn't more interested in preserving it.
Well, they are interested. The Historical Society's been working like the dickens to get this place declared a landmark. But someone downtown has been stalling. They're awfully close.
The police told me Nicholas Falcone is known for using extreme tactics to further his political causes. Why are you letting him use the lobby as his headquarters?
Nicholas has been hanging around this theater since he was a little boy. I know how torn up he is about the theater. This'll be over soon enough, and then he'll go home. I don't think he's dangerous, for gosh sakes.
Gotta go now.
Bye.
Okay. So now, if Nick is there, I'd like to speak with him.
Nancy, what's the 411?
You didn't tell me kidnapping was part of Activism 101.
That's all hearsay, Nancy. They got no witnesses, no testimony, no nothing.
I don't care if you've been convicted or not. Who are you?
I am not an eco-terrorist, and I would never orchestrate the temporary disappearance of anyone who wasn't in on the plan and down with the cause.
Maybe you'd better think about being in on the law and down with the truth, Nicholas.
All right, Officer Nancy, chill out, will ya? I'm on your side.
One of my favorite lines is about to come up.
Tell me about your relationship with the police.
All I know is they like to dig through my garbage and follow my van. Does this face say America's Most Wanted to you?
I don't know why, I just really like that first sentence. All I know is they like to dig through my garbage and follow my van. It's always entertained me. Okay, and here we go. Here is that line yet again. Start with Simone, and then Brady, and now Nick.
I'm asking everyone, where were you when the kidnapping happened?
I was outside, harnessing public outrage. Ask anyone.
Joseph told me that the St. Louis Historical Society is in the process of trying to declare this building an historical landmark.
They've been in that process for years. It's all just a big wad of red tape, a bunch of bureaucratic hocus pocus. It's about action, not paperwork.
Catch you later.
On the flip side.
And I didn't point this out, but here, which is normally our watch, has turned to say day 2. So if you needed help keeping track of the time, that's the day we're on. Let's just cut through the actual theater. Oh, do I talk to Brady or Simone first? Actually, let's go to Brady. I was going to speak with Simone. But I know there's a conversation I have to have with Brady. Simone overboard. Great doodle. Anyhow. So much for that conversation I was expecting to have. And I guess I will converse with Simone instead.
Have you seen the posters? Aren't they fabulous?
That picture of Maya is the one from her press pass, isn't it?
Yes. Thankfully, she's photogenic.
Oh, her priorities. Yikes.
What if she wasn't photogenic? Would you be less interested in helping her?
Not necessarily. I just have to be more creative about my publicity if I couldn't use photos. Brady's out plastering those posters all over St. Louis and every podunk town for 50 miles. He's due back at any time, though, for the press conference.
Right, that's why Brady's not there.
Press conference?
I've invited the press here today to report on Brady's commitment to solving this case. You know, a few questions, a few photo ops, no big deal. That funeral wreath was awful, wasn't it?
You saw the wreath? Where is it now?
I had it moved out front for the press conference. We want the press to know just how heartless this kidnapper is, don't we? Then it's all the more fabulous when Brady saves the day.
How long have you been Brady's agent?
I discovered him on an electric spring morning 6 years ago. He was working the original Coney Dog stand on Sunset Boulevard. It was pure luck. I was craving an all-beef Frank at 7 a.m. He's been the jewel in my crown ever since.
That seems really really early in the morning to eat a hot dog. That's not what I consider breakfast food.
I think your phone's about to ring.
Love ya.
Okay, now let's see if Brady's in his dressing room. No. Why? That's locked. Okay. Guess I will do something else. Now, no. I know that eventually there's, oh, good gravy. An announcement over the PA system, but I thought that happened after we spoke with Brady. Let's go this way, please. Okay. Nick? Oh, I have to call the police, don't I?
I got the number.
Oh.
I left it in the ticket booth. This woman isn't Houdini herself. She's the widow of one of Houdini's cousins.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite all-time characters.
Maybe she knows what's happened to Houdini's half of the theater. I'll call.
Eustacia Andropov. She's fantastic. Ugh, I love this character so much. 813-555-3247. 3247. Is it going to come up here? Oh, thankfully it does. 247.
Yes, hello.
Hello, is this Eustacia Andropov?
Who else would it be? Everyone else is dead.
Oh, Mrs. Andropov, I'm sorry to bother you. I'm trying to find out some information about Harry Houdini. Is it true that you're his cousin?
Who wants to know?
Oh, I beg your pardon. My name is Nancy Drew. I'm a detective working on a case in St. Louis.
Harry was only my cousin by marriage, but my husband is dead, and so is Harry. So I guess that makes me nobody's cousin. Satisfied?
I'm researching Mr. Houdini's ownership of the Royal Palladium Theater. Would you know anything about this?
He owned it. Have of it anyway, for a few months. Then he died.
Just a ray of sunshine,
Do you know what happened to his half? Did he sign it back over to J.J. Thompson?
Return it to James Jehoshaphat, Mr. Stupendous, not on his life. Losing that man was Harry's greatest escape.
Did someone in Houdini's family inherit the theater?
Harry made a plan to give his half of the theater to someone he admired. A young magician, I assume. Perhaps a protege. I remember my husband telling me this.
Can you tell me anything more?
More? I'm 96 over here. I don't exactly have time to burn.
I know it was a long time ago, Mrs. Andropov, but this is terribly important. My friend is in danger, and finding out what happened to Houdini's half of the theater may be my only hope of saving her.
Call the Library of Congress. Ask about the Houdini collection. There must be something in all of those letters. You tell that Sherman Trout, Eustacia said. You're not dead yet, Shermy, so get up and make yourself useful.
The Library of Congress. You don't happen to have that number, do you?
Well, I should have this letter from Sherman around here somewhere.
I love all this.
Cat food coupons. Vincent Jack has a repair. There you station. Here we go. Library of Congress, Washington, D.C. 202-555-5000.
Thanks, Mrs. Andropov. You've been a great help.
Save it for my funeral.
Oh my goodness. I just love her. She was a great character. Okay, and her phone number is no longer in the box, but Library of Congress's number is instead.
Manuscripts.
I'm trying to reach Sherman Trout, please.
Speaking. How may I help you?
Hi, Mr. Trout. My name is Nancy Drew. I'm a detective working on a case that involves Harry Houdini and the Royal Palladium Theater in St. Louis. Eustacia Andropov recommended I call you.
Ah, yes. Eustacia was most helpful to us when we were assembling our Houdini collection. I presume you'd like to have a look at it?
Yes, please, Mr. Trout. I'm very interested.
Fine. Well, you'll just need to register with the library when you get here and fill out a request for the materials you wish to view. When your request has been processed, the materials will be delivered to one of our reading rooms where you can view them.
Mr. Trout, please let me explain. Unfortunately, there's no way for me to come to Washington, D.C. to do research. I'm hoping you could help me find a document.
Well, Miss Drew, I'm sorry if you have logistical constraints, but please understand my own limitations. The Library of Congress currently holds over 40 million items, contained in 10,000 separate collections.
Wow.
It's the largest and most comprehensive library in the world. I simply don't have time to run research errands for the individual citizens.
Mr. Trout, if I don't solve this case in a matter of hours, the building I'm standing in will be demolished and an innocent 19-year-old girl, a friend of mine, may lose her life. You may be my only hope.
Why is your friend in danger?
She was kidnapped by someone desperate to save this building from demolition.
Then what can you possibly be hoping to find in the Houdini collection that would help matters?
Mr. Houdini was part owner of the theater, and I'm trying to find out who inherited his half or what became of it when he died. I'm hoping Houdini might have discussed it somewhere in his personal documents. If I can prove that the current owner is not legally the full owner, then maybe I can get the demolition stopped and save Maya.
I see. Well, this sounds urgent. I suppose I can take a look.
That would be such a help, Mr. Trout. If you find anything, could you overnight it to me at the Royal Palladium?
Well, I certainly can't send you the document itself. It's a historical artifact now. But I could send you a slide. What's the street address there, if I find anything?
It's 1330 Washington Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63101. Please send the package in care of Nicholas Falcone or myself, Nancy Drew. I can't tell you how grateful I am, Mr. Trout. You might just be a lifesaver.
Miss Drew, I assure you, Sherman Trout is a man of his word.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Alright, so there's that conversation. That's two really long, again, phone conversations that we don't get to, select any options for. And now, one more to be had. I think we have to call the police. Or not?
You've reached the St. Louis Police Department. This is a non-emergency line. Calls will be answered in the order they will receive. All operators are busy helping other callers. We will be with you as soon as possible. Your patience is appreciated.
We're not going to wait, because they don't answer when you get that message. Okay, let's speak with Nick.
Did you call? What's the story?
Sure did.
Go on, spill it.
She didn't know much, but she gave me the number of this guy at the Library of Congress who has access to the archives of Houdini's letters.
And what did they say?
Sherman Trout is on our side. Keep your eyes peeled for a special delivery.
Way to go, Nancy! You're on fire!
And again, that sent me chills. It's just exciting to sort of be on this mission to save this theater. I mean, it's a very romantic idea, and I really love it.
Can you believe Brady's agent has called this press conference to trump up his heroics? She can barely even remember Maya's name.
Don't worry, Nancy. This cowboy will be on the scene with a megaphone in each holster. I guarantee you the press will get more than they bargained for.
Catch you later.
On the flip side.
Okay, now let's see if Brady's back. All these different ways to get to the dressing rooms and backstage. I really like it. I like all the detail that they put into this. It's one of the reasons I love these games. There's Brady Armstrong, reading his self-help book.
How are you holding up?
You've already been a big help. Is there anything you can tell me about Maya's press pass?
I found it in the basement. I mean the balcony. It was the balcony.
So why would he change his story? Like, why would he lie about this? I wonder why that matters.
Balcony, basement, whatever. It's just my friend's life that's in danger here.
Please, Nancy. It's not me.
Oh, really? Is somebody operating you by remote control?
It's Simone. She's relentless. I'm just a hostage on her runaway bus.
That's funny. I don't see any gun to your head. Just a wad of money dangling in front of your nose.
It's more complicated than you think. Listen, I've got to get ready for this press conference. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. I think we can listen to the press conference now. I don't think I have to talk to Simone again.
Okay, folks, we're about to get started here. Mrs. Mueller, Mr. Armstrong will do their best to answer all of your questions in the time allotted. But let's proceed with good manners, shall we?
Thank you, all, for coming. I'm only sorry that the circumstances of our meeting are not more festive. Wouldn't it be nice if we were all gathered here today to revel in the blockbuster success of Brady Armstrong's new movie, Vanishing Destiny? Wouldn't we all prefer to turn our attention to record ticket sales and the squeals of delighted fans across the nation? But, alas, we have come together today over tragedy, not triumph. I've called this conference specifically to let you know, and I trust you will take it upon yourselves to inform the world, that Brady Armstrong will not rest. The greatest performance of his career will not be unveiled until Maya Nguyen...
Hey lady, you're breaking my heart. But isn't her name Maya Wynn?
Until Maya Wynn is returned to her friends and family, safe and sound. Already, our real-life hero has searched this theater and uncovered important evidence. Already, he has driven 200 miles in a rent-a-car, no less, distributing missing posters to all the outer-lying regions of this great city. You see, Brady Armstrong is a hero and a regular guy, all rolled into one.
Ooh, I'm swooning.
Put a sock in it, Mr. Camouflage. And now, without further ado, I'd like to open the floor up to questions.
Is it true that the girl was at the theater to interview Brady Armstrong? What was the interview about?
Mr. Charmstrong, do you find your fans respond to you more in your chicken suit or in your curly wig?
Did anyone hear her scream?
Ms. Mueller, you're his agent. Chicken suit or curly wig?
Any speculation of where the kidnapper's hiding her? Where did this funeral wreath come from?
Isn't it a little unusual for a movie star to help with a kidnapping like this?
People, one at a time. Brady.
Well, with all of my experience on the silver screen, I feel well prepared to save the day in St. Louis.
Oh my god.
Do you think the kidnapper is violent?
Mr. Charmstrong, have you ever thought about growing a mustache? It might really distinguish you.
Is it true you're offering a reward for the facts leading to Maya's return?
That's right. Autographed movie posters for anyone and everyone who comes forward with a decent lead.
Oh man.
Yes, is it true that that Detective Nancy Drew is on the case?
Yes, Nancy Drew is investigating.
Is she available for comment?
It's a difficult situation. You see, Maya is a friend of Nancy's, and the personal connection, well, it may be clouding the detective's judgment. She's really on edge.
Isn't anybody around here concerned about the welfare of this magnificent theater? There's more than one life at stake today, you know. Okay, I'm sorry. Hey, press people, over here. If you want the real story, talk to me. Sorry, Miss Mueller, you'll have your photo op in a moment. Yeah, over here, down by my van.
Okay, so that's the press conference. We don't actually have to listen to it. Often, if I just feel like skimming through, I get into the booth, make sure I can hear it start, and then I leave. Because the point of the press conference is for us as the player to know that everyone is supposedly outside, not in the theater, which allows us to do some snooping while people are away. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Oh, bobby pin, hello. Okay, and I've gotten stuck here, and I know lots of people have too. There's sometimes a glitch where you can't close the bag. Oh, how do you do this again? Is it the corners and then the middle? Yes. And I click this. No, I can't. It's not important anyways. I don't think you have to look through the PDA. I'd really like to. Oh, hang on, there we go. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I thought that's where the photos were. I don't know why I'm clicking through all these, I don't have to, but here, this is the combination for the number sequence we have to have show up in the PDA. And then this is important. Funeral wreath. Oh, there's the camera. This, I think we have to look at. Feeling Baroque. Clever. He is far from pleased. Okay, so photos of the basement with the press pass. And then he's posing with it in a bunch of places. Like, what the heck? Like, just scum of the earth, in my opinion, if that's what you're going to do with evidence. Jeez Louise. Close that. Fantastic. Okay. Secret passage is probably locked, so I'm going to go this way. To Brady's dressing room. Love this music, by the way. It was a great track. Power of the bobby pin. Stage Technician's Guide. Okay. I should have this written down in my little notes. Just taking them out now. I hadn't needed them up until this point. Let's see. Man, my writing as a kid was really messy. It might still be, actually. Control board, 121192. Yes, there it is. Written on my second to last page. So I don't have to memorize that. order of the buttons and switches. Power button is activated. So power button first. Then this thingamabob, this code. And then power. Maybe I don't have to click power there. Buttons bring power to fader switches. Okay, this is press something. I can't see what it says. My recording box is in the way. Hopefully I have this memorized enough, like it's all muscle memory, that I won't need to worry about this. Left to right fader switches, down to lowest position, and then magnet button. And then I know you have to move fader switches up once. There's the trapdoor button. Must press the lock switch after all stage manipulation have been completed in the proper order. Okay, okay. Magician's room. Little map. Okay. Yeah, so hopefully whatever label I can't read here is not going to stop me. Yeah, that's the one problem with this recording software. This is just the one that comes with Microsoft, the like Xbox gaming recording thing. I sometimes use OBS, but on a lot of these older games.
Smart, Nancy Drew. You're wasting precious time. Stop the demolition or you'll never see her again.
Love this, by the way. I love that they had that the PA announcement come on. But yeah, so normally, or sometimes I've used OBS for recording, but on these older games, when I do that, it just records a blank screen. So I can't use it. I have to use this the software that's already on my computer, which leaves this box in my way and causes garbled sounds after about an hour of recording, which is super annoying. So Joseph's brother Jacob passed away 6 months ago. Phone book, I don't see those often anymore.
It's locked.
No. What am I doing? I know that's not the right key. And I don't need it anyways. Let's turn the power on first. Oh, I went too far. Let's take that slide. Okay.
Hello? Hello? This must be where the threat came from.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you rotten kidnapper.
Alright, control board stuff. Okay, I guess maybe I don't have to do anything before this. Maybe I do. Nope, there we go. I don't know what this says. I'm assuming that's the trapdoor. That's power. Okay, I can't move those, so I must have to turn those on now. Let me turn the magnets on. And then that, I think, I hope. Come on. Let me look out. Why you no cooperate? There we go, we can see. Cages are there, okay. Let's scurry on down to the stage and hope I've done this correctly. I don't think I have these step-by-step instructions in my actual notebook here. Brilliant. Okay. This looks good. So cool. Imagine doing this in real life. It'd just be so neat. Okay, and the way this looks to me, this doesn't look like a hole. It looks like a red ping pong ball grasped in something. Like it took me forever to realize this was people.
Maya!
There's Maya. And now I'm trapped. Now Maya's gone. Yeah, here's another trapdoor.
These pieces won't budge.
This reminds me of Treasure in the Royal Tower, all this stonework. And that sounds like the ski lift from that game.
Help! Is anybody out there?
Who's there?
And yet I get to select this. It seems weird.
It's Nancy.
Nancy? For goodness sakes. What are you doing down there? This chair seems to be stuck. Hold on, I'm greasing the wheels here.
I found a secret room under the stage. I've got to check it out.
The magician's room. I swear, Nancy, as long as I've worked here, I've never been able to find my way in there.
I found the door, but the pieces that open the door are stuck.
Ooh, I would worry about getting bonked on the head.
Try this. Hurry.
Thank you, Joseph. Is that the same spray bottle we see in Danger on Deception Island? Might be. Don't actually have to
This
move it
should
around.
loosen things up.
But now it makes it feel like I'm actually loosening everything. Okay. I'm gonna need... I think I have to start here. Where's this piece? Come on. I love these puzzles. They're great. And I find they're not too time consuming. Others might disagree. I think I have the right head for these kinds of puzzles. That's one way to lose your head. And then this line kills me. Here we go.
Rubber is shockproof.
So they say this before we need to use the rubber gloves. I mean, I guess they're setting us up so that we know what to use, but sort of the timing of saying that is a little weird in my book.
She was just here. Her shoe.
Magic secrets. More flash paper, and that's useful there. Okay. Let's go out this way. Who knew there was a secret door in this wall? Ugh. By the creepy, amazing Monty. Like, how terrifying and how
The gate
dangerous.
is electrified.
Like, geez Louise. And this puzzle changes each time you play it. Horrible sound. Good gravy. 4. 4 1. 4 1 3. 4 1 3 2. 3. Ooh. Hallelujah, because at that point I'd kind of forgotten what I'd pressed. Okay, good, good, good. Not that Nancy takes off all the dangerous stuff.
Oh, Nancy! Hey!
I think the kidnapper just moved Maya to a new hiding place. Have you seen anything suspicious around here?
Wow, are you sure? I didn't see anything.
I found evidence that will prove that Maya's being held in this building.
Wow! Evidence. Where?
I'll talk to you later. I've got to get a hold of Sergeant Ramsey.
I think this leads already to the end of day 2 after this phone call. This is a quick one to get through. But this is going to be another lengthy conversation where we don't get to participate. This really is the one fault of this game.
St. Louis Police Department.
Missing persons unit, please.
Please hold. Missing persons, this is Ramsey.
Sergeant Ramsey, it's Nancy Drew.
Hi, Miss Drew.
I found Maya.
You found her? So the case is closed.
I found her, and then she disappeared again.
Good grief. This girl's a regular Houdini. All right. What have you got for me?
I found a secret room under the stage. I saw Maya through a peephole, but by the time I got into the room, she was gone. The kidnapper must have moved her.
A peephole, huh? Are you sure you saw her?
Sir, there's evidence. Pizza boxes and one of Maya's shoes. I left everything where it was so you could see for yourself.
So you think the kidnapper's been using this secret room as a base camp? Well, this is very interesting, Miss Drew. It sounds like you've been conducting quite a search.
Now will you please send someone over to investigate?
Yep. Just bear with me while I try to find an available car. Help is on the way, Miss Drew.
Great. Bye.
And we're so hopeful that they're going to help. Okay, so now let's go and speak with Joseph to end day 2.
Hi, Nancy. What happened?
I found Maya.
You found her? Oh, that's great. Where is she now?
Would you believe she's disappeared again?
Are you sure you didn't just imagine you saw her?
I think the kidnapper moved her, but they left some evidence behind.
Evidence? That should interest the police. Have you called them?
Yeah, they said they'll come check it out, but they may not be able to get here for a while.
I'll wait up for the police. You get some rest, Nancy. You're gonna need it for tomorrow.
Thanks, Joseph. I am exhausted.
Okay, and as we leave the room, unless you get a glitch, because this is a known glitch, where you can't leave the room, that's the end of day 2. This just looks so sad. Okay, a note from Joseph to go see him right away. Someone has defaced this poster board of Brady Armstrong. It's horrible and hilarious. It is graffiti. It technically is something you shouldn't do. But again, it's one of those things that makes for a really nice touch in a game. These extra details that are not necessary, but add depth and show all the care and time that was put in to making this great game.
Can you believe this ransom demand coming out of thin air?
Did they get any information on the call?
Apparently, the call came from north of here, a town called Granite City. Personally, I think it's a hoax, but now the police are convinced that Maya's not in this building.
That's crazy. She was tied up in the magician's room yesterday. I saw her. And the kidnapper must have been here too, because Maya didn't move herself.
Are you sure the pizza boxes were in that magician's room? Because the police couldn't find anything.
That's impossible. Are you sure they looked in the magician's room?
They searched the whole building.
How could they miss 2 big pizza boxes with leftover pizza inside? what about Maya's shoe?
No trace of that either.
Even without the evidence, that corner of the room had obviously been lived in recently.
Follow your gut, Nancy. If you think Maya's still here, you keep looking for her, you hear?
I got another threat from the kidnapper. That creepy voice came on the PA and told me to stop searching for Maya.
The projection room? But who? Someone must have ducked out of the press conference. I was so busy with crowd control, I didn't even notice.
Joseph, I did some checking. You don't really have any family in Greasewood, do you?
Now, what you want to go digging into an old man's life for, Nancy?
Sorry, Joseph, but if you're not going to Greasewood, I have to think maybe you're feeling a little desperate these days. Desperate enough to kidnap someone? You tell me.
I don't normally pick that option.
Now. I am going to Greasewood, and I'm not desperate. I made up the part about my brother so you wouldn't feel sorry for me. You've got enough to worry about, don't you?
It's only a matter of hours until the demolition. How are you holding up, Joseph?
Oh, fine. Everything's great. Fine. I was up till the wee hours polishing up the lobby. Heck, I'm even fixing to repair the old keymaker so you can give it a whirl. Guess old habits die hard, eh?
Gotta go now.
Bye.
Okay, so today is day 3. You can see in the corner here in our little, what's normally a little clock. It is the final day, it's the big day. It's our last chance to find Maya. It's also our last day to find proof for who owns the other 50% of the theater. So we have 2 goals: to find and save Maya, and to stop the demolition, even if we successfully find Maya. And now let's talk to Miss Nudie Pants.
How's progress?
I know you sent the funeral wreath. Now where's Maya?
I don't know what you're talking about, Sugar. Listen, the pressure must really be getting to you. I know a top-notch aromatherapist in town, okay? I'll give you her number.
Yeah, that's not gonna help.
Come on, Simone. Ginger's 24-hour flower-rama? I believe you've been caught red-handed.
You broke into my personal property? I could have you arrested for that.
It's just business, Simone. You do what agents do, I do what detectives do. I'm sure you can appreciate that.
All right, I sent the stupid wreath, but I'm no kidnapper. I needed something for the cameras, didn't I? And it was a very tasteful arrangement. Should have been for $300. Perhaps I went a little overboard.
Just a tad. She's just horrible. Just thoughtless behavior. Yeah, I agree with this.
Someone should sentence you to 50 years of humanity service, whether you're the kidnapper or not.
Yeah, she's just horrendous. She has this one-track mind for promoting Brady, and obviously that one track is the wrong direction. It's not, shouldn't be her focus. Ugh, just can't stand her. She's almost to the point of being heinous. She's that bad. So let's talk with Brady.
What are you doing hanging out with that Falcone jerk?
You can see here this little bit of script. I think it's from the end of the question mark. It's like the text wrapped, but wasn't quite framed properly.
Who are you, my overprotective big brother?
That guy's bad news, and he's certainly not gonna help your credibility with the police.
Don't worry, I don't trust him any more than I trust you, or anyone else around here for that matter.
Just trying to help.
Talk to you later, Brady.
You betcha.
Okay. So I actually need Brady to leave his dressing room. So let's just go wander and look at JJ. Because why not? can't do this yet. I'd be getting ahead of myself. That's why I need to go back to Brady's dressing room. Let's see if my little wander was enough to get him to leave. Yes, aha. Here's his bag. This is what I was waiting for. So it's tanning spray, pencil, that's super important.
Maya's notebook.
Does he make any of his own decisions? That's a good question. Seems like Simone tends to make the decisions for him. Hit him with the evidence, demand an answer. Interesting. Wonder what that's about. Ugh. Sometimes I have trouble closing this. I have to hit just the right spot. There we go.
Hey, you.
Hey, you. Ugh.
Don't hey you me, Brady, you rotten fraud.
Huh? I'm afraid you've lost me.
You kidnapped her because you didn't want her to print this article. Why?
I haven't done anything wrong.
You have some nerve. I bet that notebook has your fingerprints all over it.
Okay, Nancy, here's the deal. My real name is Brady Thompson. Simone pushed for Armstrong, more wholesomely smoldering, she said.
And here we have a plot twist. Which one do I want to pick?
Wholesome my foot.
I'm Wave of the Future, Inc., the owner of this theater, great nephew of JJ himself.
There we go. There's our plot twist. He is more invested in this demolition than we're first led to believe.
So why don't you stop the demolition?
The place is shabby. It needs major repairs. It's a money pit and a has-been. Not the image I want to project.
I mean, he sounds really vain and horrible there, but he has a point with regard to the money pit. You do have to sort of assess your risk, because if you put in a lot of money into a project that's not going to succeed, it can ruin you. So I do have a little bit of respect with regard to that concern of his. But otherwise, he just sounds like a pig.
Is everything about image with you?
Never underestimate the power of image, Nancy. You are what you project.
And what is it that you wish to project?
When people think of Brady Armstrong, they think sparkling white teeth and healthy glow. Success glows. It doesn't crumble and sag. The hero never rides a has-been horse.
Then why don't you sell the theater to someone else?
When I saw these ritzy theme restaurants popping up all over the country, it hit me like pow. My first original idea. Brady Armstrong's Planet Tinseltown. Can't you see it on the marquee? Grand opening. The lights will say it all.
Keep going. You've got a lot more explaining to do.
I've sworn to be the captain of my own destiny. Maya was going to expose me, muck up my name in this controversy. It would have been a dark cloud over the launch of Tinseltown.
And for that, she deserves to be kidnapped?
I didn't kidnap her. I found her notepad in the basement with the press pass. I just thought I'd hang on to it for a few days until the dust settles.
Which is completely irresponsible. Like, that's such a dangerous risk. He's hidden evidence which affects the way the police act. It puts Maya's life at greater risk. He's so self-absorbed and doesn't understand the seriousness of what's going on. Like, it's unbelievable.
How could you withhold anything that might help me find her? How could you?
Sorry, Nancy. Look, you're not thinking clearly. It's obvious she's not in the building. We've searched everywhere.
But that's not his place to make that judgment. That's up to the police. Like, he's just been completely selfish in all this. Completely thoughtless.
Call off the demolition! You've got to!
You're the only one who thinks she's here. There's no evidence.
There was evidence. I found a pizza box and one of her shoes.
Evidence that no one was able to verify. Who's to say you didn't imagine that stuff?
Joseph believes me.
He's a confused old codger.
Nicholas thinks she's in the building.
He's an outlaw, and he's using you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to rally a wrecking crew.
Oh, I just hate him. Like, he's become really horrible. I really liked him, or kind of liked him at the beginning, and now he's just awful. Which I think was the intent. We're supposed to have this change of heart about Brady, and, well, they were successful.
Brady, no!
I also really love the voice acting, Nancy's in particular at this point. Like, you really feel her emotion. Like, you can sense that she's genuinely upset. So I think that was done incredibly well. Okay, now that I have the pencil, I can go up to the projection room. And get the info I need about that key. Joseph's stuff here. Here we go. I really like this tune. I may have said it earlier. I love the beat of it. Alright, so here's our key, which you need to draw out if you haven't done this before. My drawings of it are really horrendous. It doesn't quite look right. Oh, did I open it again? Yes, I did, of course. Okay, so now let's head down to the key maker. Put in my 25 cents. There it is. So as I mentioned, my first drawings of this were truly horrendous. I couldn't always figure out what shape it was supposed to be, or shapes. And I really appreciate that they've given them letters so you can kind of keep track of what you've tried. It sort of helps with, you don't even have to rely on recall, you can just write down which letters you've done. And that's the only way I do this, is I've memorized the letters for the shapes. So it's S-I-V-O. S-I-V-O, Mickey. Yeah, if I were to draw out that key again and try and make it based on that, I fear how many tries it would take for me to get it right. Okay, so we have the key, which is great. We also need that package. Let's talk to Nick.
Nancy, we could be golden! A package just came from that museum. We may have the goods to stop this demolition dead in its tracks. Check the ticket booth.
Heck yes. And I get excited. Just good chills. Because, you know, you're achieving what you've set out to do, at least for Nick, to help stop this theater from being demolished. I find it very exciting. I'm really invested in this storyline. Okay, let's go up these stairs. It's not the way I normally go. Okay, so let's put in the slide. And the light's blown. And I don't actually have to take the slide, but that's what I did.
I should switch the power off.
Yes, I should switch the power off. That would be smart. Okay, so now we have our key. Can open this. Okay. There's a slide there. I'm not going to take it because that's going to start up a chain of dialogue, and a timer is going to start, and then I have to go hide, and then I have to come back here and switch the bulb. So start with the bulb, and then click on the slide.
Okay, officers, this is our final sweep.
Because this happens.
In a matter of minutes, this building will be nothing but a pile of rubble.
I'm so close. I just need a few more minutes.
So I just have to go hide in the closet here.
See anything, Dino? All clear in here, Sarge.
No one thinks to check the closet, because why would they think someone would be hiding in a theater that's about to be demolished? I also love this change of music. Like, it feels quite intense. And you can feel that the end of the game is approaching. Okay. Let's turn that on. So here's that information from Shermie. Put in the slide we found in the actual projector. And lo and behold, our focus knob goes a-tumbling, which is important, because then it leads us to this.
Testing. Testing. 1, 2, 3, testing. Is this thing on? Hello?
And this is, of course, what we heard at the beginning of the game when Nancy and Maya first separate. We hear Joseph over the PA. And it turns out it was just a recording. So there goes his alibi. He was not physically up here. And this voice swap, so this would be that voice distortion device that was heard for the threatening phone call and for the other announcement over the PA system on day 2.
Another secret passageway.
Which is so cool. I wonder if theaters actually have passageways like this. I just think that'd be awesome. So I'd like to find
Hey, Nancy, I've been looking for you.
Oh, Joseph.
Joseph, I thought you left the theater.
I've decided I need to get organized, Nancy. Tomorrow I'm really gonna straighten up in here.
But Joseph, there isn't going to be any tomorrow. Not for this theater, anyway.
I think a fresh coat of paint would really cheer things up, don't you?
We've got 3 good options. Start or select the first one.
I know it's you, Joseph. But why? Were you trying to buy some time so the Historical Society could declare the theater a landmark or something?
Do you think the premiere will sell out?
He's totally off his rocker.
The police think the building is empty. You've got to help me, or we'll all be smashed to bits.
Don't tell him she's here, Nancy. I'll take her away and knock down the theater.
They're gonna knock it down anyway. Please, we don't have much time.
Don't tell him, Nancy.
And we're locked in. But let's find that other secret passage. Oh, and there's our timer. Going to start clicking down. For this, we need that key we found on day 1, that gear puzzle. And you don't have to look at these documents. They're not necessary for completing the game. But they help with the Falcone story. So I was trying to look at them. There we go. And I believe it's the 3rd key we need. There's one of our wedges from the timer. It has already disappeared. But that music just intensifies and makes you feel like you are really running out of time. Yes, that is the right key. No, another wedge is gone from the timer. I just think this part is sort of horrific in a way. Like, there's Maya trapped in this like furnace thing. Did you even have air in
Hang on, Maya. I'll get you out of there.
And when I first played this game, I wasted so much time trying to break into that. Which is not what you actually want to do.
I've got to let them know we're up here.
Jimmy, is that ball ready to swing?
Jeepers.
Not so fast, Detective.
I need to scroll.
Joseph, please let me pass.
I can't let you do this, Nancy.
There we go.
I'm warning you. I still got a trick or two up my sleeve.
We're going down in a blaze of glory.
Joseph, you can go down in a blaze of glory if you want, but Maya and I are not coming with you.
You've cracked your last case.
Joseph, this is far from over. Now step aside.
It's all over now.
We've still got time for a grand finale here, Joseph.
I never meant for it to turn out this way.
Oh, man. Okay, well.
Ah! That light!
And I got chills again. I'm such
Dear
a nerd.
Bess, I still can hardly believe that Joseph, sweet old Joseph, was Maya's kidnapper. He says he planned to kidnap Brady with the idea that Simone could use her Hollywood connections to save the theater. But when Maya entered the dressing room, he panicked and grabbed her instead. Plan B was to stall the demolition long enough for the Historical Society to declare the building an official landmark. I guess he's been at the Royal Palladium for so long, he just couldn't imagine his life without it. But desperation aside, poor Joseph wasn't cut out for a life of crime, and pretty soon things were spinning out of his control. Simone's publicity stunts didn't help. At least he was courteous and kind to Maya through the whole thing. Her testimony should help him in court. The good news is that the Royal Palladium is still standing. Once he heard that Nicholas would inherit his grandmother Louisa's 50% of the theater, Brady decided he'd better find another site for Planet Tinseltown. In order to make amends for things, and because he needed some good publicity, Brady donated his half of the theater to the St. Louis Historical Society. Together with Hadit, they should have this place restored to its original glory in no time. Not such a happy ending for Simone, I'm afraid. She received an official reprimand from the National Press Corps for her stunt with the wreath. Still, knowing Simone, she'll be back at the top of her game in no time. So, here ends the longest 3 days of my life. The premiere of Vanishing Destiny is back on. But I think this detective is going to wait for it to come out on videotape. Talk to you soon. Love, Nancy.
And there we go. That is the 3-day mystery. That is the final scene. Solved. Before I sort of talk about the whole game, I just have to laugh at Nick's face at the end of that game in that article of him and Brady. That was genius. I loved that was put in. That expression on his face is just perfect. I love it. Gave me a good laugh. Wasn't expecting that. I'd forgotten about that, so that was great. So there we go. I finished this game. I love this game. I really appreciate the 3-day mystery setup because that's not something that had been done before. That was pretty innovative. Granted, this is only the 5th game in the series at the time, so there's a lot of things that could have been done that were considered new. Yeah, so I really enjoyed the setup. I enjoyed the game. The only thing that I think could have been improved upon is the telephone calls, because you are sitting there just listening, not actively participating. So that could have been set up better. But I do like the conversations that we have over the phone. I think those are well set up. Like, they're really important discussions. I like the way that they were done, like speaking with Madeline and the hold music and her yelling to Charles. I really liked that. I thought that was enjoyable. But it was a little boring when you're not actively participating. You don't get to select your options. You just sit there and watch and listen. You don't really watch. You're really just listening. So what else? I love the theater. I love the setup. I love the passageways. I love the history that they created there. It's such a romantic idea, which I really appreciate it. I just enjoyed this setting so very much. I also like that the story was not simply about the kidnapping. I mean, that was obviously our driving force, but it was because of this historical element about saving the theater, and the Falcone history, and the importance and value of it for that particular character and why we want to stop the demolition. I also really like the story of Harry Houdini. So we have this real figure from history. He's a well-known magician, and I don't know if all the facts or elements they included in the game about him were true. I would assume most of them were. I mean, not the challenge with JJ, because JJ is a fictitious character. But I wonder just how much otherwise is historically accurate. I had thought about doing some research on Harry Houdini before playing this game, which I thought about maybe a week ago, And then I started playing this game sort of earlier than anticipated, so I hadn't done any of that research. What else? So I basically just love that that HeR Interactive takes the time to put in these educational elements. So in this case, it's about historical figure and even stuff in the lighting booth, learning how parts of a stage are set up, these tools that are available. Other games, it might be different elements, maybe not a person, but like learning how to play the piano. That's a skill that you learn in other games. So these early games are really good at including educational components. So I really thank HeR Interactive for taking the time back then to do that. These tidbits, they can stir people's imaginations, our curiosity, our interests, things that they sort of expose us to things that we might not be exposed to at that age. I know for me, looking at the next game, Secret of the Scarlet Hand, there's a little bit of chemistry, and because of that inclusion in the game that I became quite interested in and studied chemistry a bit in high school and university. So there is some importance really in putting in these elements into the computer game. It certainly enriches the story, but I think it's great for our minds. Sort of leads us to study things that we might not otherwise be exposed to. Anyways, I could ramble on about that. I'll stop. What else is there to say? Yeah, Kidnapping, great story. Horrible thing to have happen, but I think it's a great storyline. I love the 3-day setting. And I felt with the way the story was set up that I was really invested in the characters. Like I was driven, I was motivated. I obviously wanted to find Maya, but I really wanted to help Nick and, help sort of get some justice for Louisa Falcone. That family history, thought that was really important. I wanted to be able to be of assistance, and I was constantly getting chills when things were going right and developing for that particular storyline. It was really satisfying. So there's some great levels to this game. I appreciate this game. It's superb. Another thing to talk about is, which I think is quite important and not exciting, more serious, is Brady moves evidence and he lies about where he's found it, which is to say is a massive no-no, is a huge understatement. You do not disturb a crime scene. You do not move evidence. You do not touch evidence. You don't lie about it. You don't hide it. You tell the police about it ASAP, because that is going to affect their behavior, their approach. Lets them know, is our kidnapped victim actually in the building, or has she been moved? He screwed up that case. It was so dangerous, so thoughtless. It's horrific in my mind. That might sound rather dramatic and extreme, but it is. There are some severe consequences when you manipulate evidence. So, they didn't really talk too much about those consequences, but they did bring up hiding the truth, which affects the outcome. So, I thought that was an important, small part of the storyline that I appreciate that they included. Moving on to something lighter, the soundtrack is great. Like, it's super jazzy, like right now. All of this track is kind of ending. Oh no, there it is again. Love the music. I really liked the Bee's Knees, that puzzle, which also had a great little super jazzy track. The puzzles, seem a little minimal in my mind. We had a few of them, but not a ton of super true puzzles, like jigsaw puzzles and all that. We had the sort of cool task on day 2 of dealing with the cages in the sound booth. I thought that was, or in the projection room rather. I really enjoyed that task. I thought that was kind of neat, and I don't know if you want to call it a puzzle. You did have to do things in a certain order. So I enjoyed that, sort of in place of a standard jigsaw puzzle. What else? Oh, and I like that, and I mentioned this sort of at the beginning, that they included Maya. So again, I believe it's supposed to be Bess. Originally it's Bess in the book, who is with Nancy and she winds up kidnapped. Her Interactive decided not to have Bess in the game. They created the character of Maya, because I don't think she's a character from the books. I could be mistaken on that. But I like that they put her in instead. Gave us some diversity, and she's Vietnamese rather than Caucasian like Bess and Nancy are. So I appreciated, you know, that little, I don't really know how I want to call it, that consideration, that moment of creativity, this opportunity that they took. I thought that was really nice. Yeah, so I love this game. It felt very authentic being in the theater. It just, like I already said, it felt very romantic. I love the storyline, the location, the music. It all comes together supremely well. It's a great game. And as the 5th game in the series, they had a lot of room to do innovative and new things, and I think they knocked it out of the park. It's fantastic. Alright, with that, I'm going to end this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you had fun. I certainly did. It's a great game, and I'm looking forward to playing my next one. So thank you very much. Have a great day, and stay safe out there. Bye-bye.